Hello everyone, this is iKonakona playing as the assault class with the FAMAS. Now in this video I wanted to go over the very basics of run and gun kind of tactics, and I play a lot of TDM. By the way, I think TDM is one of the best ways in this game to level up a gun. If you have a favorite gun, I would recommend going to TDM with that gun and just play around with it, and you'll get a lot of attachments that way. That's how I usually get my attachments for my gun. By the way, that was a really good spot with that guy. Now, some of these basics will seem like common sense, but I see a lot of people who don't really do these things, and they get average KD ratios. If you want pretty good KD ratios, I suggest you do the very basics of first-person shooters, and ones that really apply to Battlefield 3. Now, the first one is going to be reloading undercover. Now, you gotta remember that this is not Call of Duty. In Call of Duty, you can really do some run and gun, and you can kind of reload on the run out in the open, and you're gonna be fine because the reload is so fast, especially if you have perks like sleight of hand. Unfortunately, we don't have perks in this game, and so the reload animations for all the guns are pretty darn slow. So what I recommend is that when you reload your weapon like this, take cover, reload fully, and then peek back out. Here, I actually decide to ditch this guy and reload over here. That's a nice thing about this game as well, is you can actually jump out of firefights. You can actually run away from firefights, reload, and then come back to them. Now that seems like common sense, but when I first started playing this game, I recorded myself, and I was wondering, well, why wasn't I getting good KD ratios? And when I look back at the footage, I found that most of the time that I died because I reloaded out in the open. So it's very important to find some cover, some safe cover, to reload behind. Speaking of cover, the next basic tip is to use cover to your advantage when shooting. Now, you may be tempted to try and shoot someone as soon as you see them. Say you're running down out in the open, and all of a sudden you see an enemy in front of you. Sometimes I am guilty of this. I actually stop in the middle of nowhere, aim down my sights, and take out that enemy. And usually I'm able to take him out, but I end up dying myself because I'm exposing myself to the enemy. What you want to try and do is when you take a shot, you want to try and take a shot behind or near cover. You want to make it more difficult for the enemy to spot you and limit the areas that the enemy can spot you. If you're out in the open, you can get shot from pretty much any direction, 360 degrees around you. But if you're, say, near a wall, you only have to worry about 180 degrees, so you can cut your risk in half. So I recommend using cover when shooting. Next is using the minimap, and when I use the minimap, I not only use it to look at where the enemies are, I use it to look at where my teammates are. So you can see in the bottom left, I can see where my teammates are. Actually, an enemy spawned right there. I don't know why, but the spawn points in TDM are so weird, so you kind of have to be on your toes all the time. But you can see that I had some teammates surrounding me, but now that they're all dead, fortunately, I can see that the enemy is closing on my position. So I can see that not many people are around me, and now I'm in a hot zone. And so I have to really pay attention, really keep on my toes, and make sure that I don't get shot in the back. So I'm constantly looking around this barrier here, looking behind me just to make sure that these guys don't flank me. Sometimes the minimap can be a bit misleading because of all those symbols down there, so it's good to understand what those symbols mean. Of course, the blue arrows are your friendlies, and the orange arrows, or the red arrows, are the enemies. But those circles with the band-aids, those are actually med packs. It gives you a location of med packs just in case you need some health. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's a medic around that. And I've sometimes making the mistake that I assume that because a med pack was there, that, like me, I was sticking around my med pack. But sometimes a medic just drops a med pack and he gets killed, but his med pack stays there. So that can be a bit misleading as to where your teammates are. So if you see a bunch of med packs but not a lot of arrows, then you're probably going to be alone with a lot of med packs. So keep that in mind. Now, the weapon you're probably going to be using in this game is going to be some sort of automatic weapon, but that doesn't mean you have to hold down the trigger all the time. In fact, most of these guns work best when you shoot them in small bursts. There are two main reasons to shooting in bursts rather than fully automatic. The first one is accuracy. Your accuracy decreases as you keep the trigger down. So if you're constantly shooting, your accuracy is just going to get worse and worse with each shot. So it's good to shoot in small bursts like this. You get much more accuracy, and you'll kill the person a lot faster. The second reason is you don't want a whole bunch of tracers giving away your position. This game is all about flanking the enemy and shooting him in places where he didn't expect you to. That's how you win gunfights in this game. If you keep the trigger down for a long time, you're going to be making a lot of tracers, a lot of noise, and you're going to stay up on the minimap for everyone to see you for a very long time. So you want to try and shoot in bursts as much as possible so that the enemy doesn't really know where you are. An exception to this is in close quarters combat. Now in close quarters combat, it's actually a good thing to hold down the trigger because the more bullets you get out, the more likely that you're going to win that gunfight. So that's today's video, and here are some other videos you may have missed. On the top, I play as a spy with the Spicicle on Upwards in TF2, and on the bottom, it's a live commentary in the helicopter on Wake Island in Battlefield 3. So I hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.